Hi everybody, welcome to News Review. I'm Neil and I am in my temporary lockdown studio with Catherine on the other side of London. Hi Catherine.
Hello Neil, hello everybody. Now Neil, I want to ask you a question. When are you next going to see some live music?
Well, that is a good question. I have tickets for 2 concerts this summer and I don't think they're going to happen, to be honest.
Exactly, yep. And it's the same story for a lot of us all around the world. Music events are being cancelled due to the coronavirus outbreak, and that's what we're looking at today.
Okay, so let's find out some more from this BBC Radio 1 Newsbeat bulletin.
And a top music boss doesn't think live music will be back until the end of the year at the very least. Andrea Martin from PRS for Music says coronavirus means fans could be wary of going to gigs in future.
So yes, there are a lot of concerns about the future of live music. Now, most music events in the UK and further afield have been cancelled. This situation is going to stay for some months. In the UK, it may be the end of the year before there is any live music. Now, even when the live music starts, it could be that people are too worried to attend events, and it's reported that festival organisations are in so much trouble with this, they may never be able to hold another festival ever.
So it's really worrying times for the music industry. You've been looking around at this story and you've picked out 3 words and expressions. What have you got?
Yes, we have wasteland, go to the wall and decimation.
Wasteland, go to the wall and decimation. Okay, your first headline, please.
And we're starting with Music Radar here in the UK. The headline, a wasteland. UK's festival scene on verge of permanent collapse.
Wasteland, a situation which contains nothing positive.
Yes, so wasteland is spelt Wasteland. It's all one word, wasteland.
Okay,
Now,
so we have this word wasteland. It's got waste and land in it. But what does that have to do with this story?
okay, well, let's look at the literal meaning first. Wasteland is land that is not being used for anything. That means it's not being used by people. Often it's not being used by animals, wildlife. There's very little growing there. So a wasteland is land that is not being used. Usually a wasteland was used in the past. We often talk about industrial wastelands. That means an area of land which did have human activity but is now doesn't have any activity. So a wasteland in the idiomatic sense, or in this sense, means the industry, the music industry, will be a wasteland. It no longer has any useful activity happening within it.
Okay, we often hear this used in a sort of economic sense, don't we?
Yes, I mean, we can talk about an economic wasteland, and it means that an area of business or the economy that was very successful before is now not having any success.
Yeah, and we can also talk about a cultural wasteland. What's that?
Well, Neil, yes, I think a friend of yours moved out of London quite recently, didn't they? They wanted lots of clean air, and they didn't like the traffic and all the pollution and everything. So off they went to live in a little village, and I heard they're not too happy now.
No, well, these were people who really, really liked going to the theatre, seeing concerts, going to art galleries and exhibitions, tasting food from all over the world. And they found that even though it was really nice and quiet in the countryside in that particular village, they just said it was a bit of a wasteland, a cultural wasteland.
A cultural wasteland. So not enough opera in the tiny little village.
No, nowhere near enough opera in the village.
Well, I don't know if that's a bad thing to not have opera in a little village, but a cultural wasteland is a phrase that describes a place that doesn't have a lot of variety in terms of culture.
Okay, well, let's have a summary of that word. Now our second headline, please, Catherine.
Yes, still in the UK with louder sound, and the headline is AIF, 92% of independent festivals could go to the wall unless government take action.
Go to the wall. Fail. Be destroyed.
Yes, we have a 4-word phrase here. G-O, go, to, T-O, the, T-H-E, and wall, W-A-L-L. So the full phrase is go to the wall. Now, if something goes to the wall, it is in very serious trouble. It is fighting for its survival. It probably won't survive at all. And we often use go to the wall to talk about businesses. If a business goes to the wall, it really fails, or it has to fight very hard to succeed.
Yeah, so we're talking here about businesses, projects, that kind of thing.
Yes, you can talk about projects. I believe a project of yours went to the wall recently, Neil.
Oh, well, I've been trying this English for Cats idea that nobody really likes. I'm afraid it's gone to the wall.
It went to the wall pretty quickly, really. No interest.
Nobody's interested in it. And
Except the cats. And they can't click on the computer. That's the problem.
it's a failure, basically. It's a failure. And so we can say that it went to the wall.
It went to the wall.
It's a curious expression, isn't it? We don't really know the origin.
Well, we had a look and it's got to do some places say that it's about fighting. If you're in a fight and you've got a wall behind you, nobody can attack you from behind, but it means that you're being attacked.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a very memorable expression.
Yeah.
Let's have a summary then, please. If you like stories about music, we have a good one for you, don't we, Catherine?
Well, it's about another venture that went to the wall, the death of iTunes. If you want to know more, click the link in the description.
And that's not all they should do, is it?
No, by no means. If you like anything that we do, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss another one of our shows.
Okay, now it's time for our final headline.
Yes, our last headline comes from the United States, the publication Digital Music News, and the headline, the Association of Independent Festivals, AIF, warns that indie UK festivals are facing decimation.
Decimation, destruction, killing of large numbers of something.
Yes, it's D-E-C-I-M-A-T-I-O-N. Decimation. The C is pronounced with a S sound. Decimation.
There is an interesting origin to this word, isn't there? The clue being in DEC at the beginning.
Yes, DEC, dec means 10 in a lot of Latin languages. And if you know your Roman history, you will know that Roman soldiers, if a group of Roman soldiers, a legion or a squadron, I'm not sure what they were called, but a group of Roman soldiers, as a punishment for bad behaviour, 1 in every 10 of those soldiers would be killed. So a very severe punishment, but 1 in 10 were killed as a punishment for all of them. This is where we get the idea of decimation. It means a lot of killing. Now, in terms of the music industry, people are not being killed, and it's not to do with 10% either. It just means a lot of serious destruction. If something is decimated, it cannot recover. Recovery will be very, very difficult. It cannot function properly.
Okay, so we've talked about the financial use or the economic use of this word. We also hear this used a lot when we're talking about the environment.
Yes, we can talk about environmental decimation. We also have the verb to decimate, and we can say that something has been decimated. So we can talk about numbers of animals that have been decimated. The rainforest is experiencing decimation. There's lots of words about environmental destruction. on an extreme scale, and we can talk about decimation.
Okay, let's have a summary of that word. Time now then for a recap of our vocabulary, please.
Yes, we had wasteland, a situation which contains nothing positive. We had go to the wall, which means fail or be destroyed. And finally, decimation, destruction, killing of large numbers of something.
If you want to test yourself on the vocabulary, we have a quiz on our website, bbclearningenglish.com. Until next time, stay safe. See you, everybody.
Stay safe. Bye.